Hello, hello, and we're back again. This is Laura Wilford with The Change Starts Here. Today, we're going to talk about learning to overcome life challenges. Now, we all know that we face life challenges, whether they may be big or small. We seem to run into them possibly every day, but we run into big ones a few times, maybe a year. We are going to be here to kind of break that down for you because there's a lot of times when you just feel overwhelmed, especially in today's world. How do I make this right? How do I get out of this? How do I overcome this? How do I get this car fixed and I don't have any money? So let us get started. And the first thing is feeling alone in a crowded world. Now, a lot of us feel alone because what happens? We are caught up on our cell phones. Our partners are sitting next to us. When you really want to be able to talk to them or share something with them, it can be difficult because you got to first pull them away from their phone just to even get 2 minutes of their attention, right?
Right.
So, how do we overcome that? Because social media is stealing our friends and our partners away from that.
Set the phone down. I mean, couples need to set their phones down when they go out to eat together and you see them and they're not even talking to each other. They're just, I wonder sometimes if they're texting each other because it's like they're not looking at each other, facing each other. Put the phone down, keep it at home. I understand they might have kids, but put your phone down so that so you can have that connection. And same when you're out with your friends, I try my best to put that phone down so that because they don't get out very often. The ones that I do hang out with, we're all looking for, I don't want to say attention, but somebody to talk to about how your week's been or how, your day went or, because they
Yeah.
may, I live alone. I don't have anybody to walk through the door and say, hey, so that's one of the things that I like when I'm lonely is to like just put that phone down and join that conversation with your friends and catch
Right.
up with each other. Um,
Mhm.
I think the reason can also be why are they, lonely? You
mhm.
feel like, you're not the popular person at school, and so you distract yourself by being in the phone or being on social media or whatever things that you do to distract from whatever else may be going on in your life. And I think sometimes you have to try to address those issues also, you know, and see what that is, see if that is actually an issue. It could be an issue. Because I know a lot of families, they can be inside of their own houses and they're texting each other. They are not even just like going down to the other room or to the next room. They're still
Right.
to each other. And I think that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's true. I think for me, I see it say some people feel lonely, but don't actually reach out to the people they want to be around.
Hmm.
They may
Mhm.
feel like those people don't want to hang out with them or something like that. But some people are lonely at a default of them not reaching out to people in the first damn place.
Right. I can see that too. But
Or to be
sometimes they want to reach out, but they really can't reach out because maybe they can't afford to. They want to go meet somewhere and they can't. Financial hardship. You know,
Mhm. Yeah,
so they just go home and they're on their phones.
yeah.
or, or it can be the environment that they're brought up in. Some families, they don't speak to each other like that, or some families cross paths. Some parents may work, the midnight shift. The dad may work the midnight shift, and the mom may be working the morning shift, and the kids are getting their own cereal to go and fix their own lunch.
For
So they
dinner.
just, yeah, or dinner, and they just may have been forced to be in that type of bubble by yourself. So, I still think you have to figure out what the root cause of it is.
Right.
Well, I think you can also feel lonely when you don't think anyone else can understand your struggles.
Mm.
And you
True.
keep it all to yourself, you keep it all in your head. You think about it, you obsess on it. You can be in a room full of people, but you're maybe in a depression, which also separates you from other people and society, which makes you feel more lonely. And I think also there are those people out there who have to suck out every ounce of attention in a room. And you may not be that outspoken or that flamboyant or whatever. And you just by by them being overly outgoing, it makes you shrink into a corner.
Yeah, by
It's
default.
exhausting too,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah,
So I guess now the next part of this is we know what causes that feeling of being alone in a crowded place. How can we now overcome those feelings? What can we suggest to people to help them rise above that feeling?
I would say join a hobby group or something you're actually interested in.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I've joined a few different groups, and everyone that's there wants to be there and meet people that like the same subject. And it's just automatic. You got connection there, then it just goes from there. Next thing you know, you're seeing each other once a week, and you got a whole group, and you're not lonely. You
Right.
might get too busy to actually do all this stuff in that damn group. And, you're like, I need to sit home today. I need
Yeah.
to be alone today.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, like join a book club or join something like through the community that is free if you can't afford something, you know. Um Even join like a Bible class or something if that's something that you're interested in, but yet too shy to go to church or something like that. But
There are a
join.
lot of community centers that you can go to, like you guys were saying. If money is an issue, there are a lot
Hmm.
of community centers that have a lot of things that are really will really help you socialize better.
Hmm.
A lot of free things.
Or
Uh,
even volunteer.
yes, volunteer. That's
Volunteer, and something that your heart, you've always wanted to, like I would do meals on wheels back home or help um prep food, and then they'd go deliver it to the seniors and children, something like that. I've thought about doing again down here, now that I'm getting more out in the community than before, you know after the grief and all that stuff that I've gotten through, so I find myself wanting to do more like that kind of stuff, volunteer or
yeah.
coach or something that I used to do, you know.
And make a conscious decision to get out. That's the first step.
Yeah.
Say, I'm gonna put on some clothes and I'm getting ready to go out the door. Make a conscious
Yeah.
decision to get out of the house, get out of your normal routine. That
Go
helps.
for a walk.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, go for a walk. That's another tough part. You can if you like walking, go to the Y, and that's how you can meet other people.
True. I think if we back up a little bit and talk about the first thing that makes people feel lonely is sitting at a table with your family or your partner or a friend, and they're on your phone. They're on their phone. I think that just being a responsible person and being dedicated to your self well-being, loving yourself enough to ask that person to put down their phone and actually have a conversation with them about how it makes you feel. I think when you can share feelings, people can relate to those feelings. And if they can't, maybe you shouldn't be with that person, or maybe you shouldn't be taking your time to spend time with them because they're not taking their time to spend with you.
Right.
So have
Yeah.
that conversation with them. Let them know
Mhm.
how you feel or how it's making you feel. And hopefully you guys can come to an understanding that, hey, during dinner time, we all put our phones down and we are going to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Or when it's X amount of time, when it's 9 o'clock, we're just going to put our phones down. We're going to be here
Hmm.
together. Even if it's like watching the same show and looking at each other, commenting back and forth, laughing
Hmm.
pointing things out. Getting back to human connection again, I think is more important now than ever because this problem is a problem, not only here in Georgia, but it's a problem across the United States, and I would guess the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
It's an addiction.
It is.
It is.
I know people that have literally cut the internet off in their homes so that the kids cannot get on the internet past a certain hour because they will still try to find a way and they have to literally cut it off.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
back when we had landlines, my parents told us no phone calls after 8:30. You tell your friends because this is, family time, or this is quiet time, or we just had televisions back in the day. We didn't have all this cell phone stuff. But now it's like, raising the three girls, and every time they come to the table, they had their phones right there next to them. It's like, we don't have phones at the table for dinner, and they'd be like, why? I'm expecting a call. Well, and it was hard to try and explain to them that you need peace of mind to get away. You're getting addicted. And that's what I said. You're getting addicted. It's like techno stress,
Right. Well, when you go on a cruise, you can't take you can take your phone, but it's useless. Even if you buy the internet package, it's basically useless. And at the beginning of the cruise, you're feeling anxiety because you're missing about what's going on and you're missing your calls and by the time you're done with that cruise, you don't give one rat's patootie about that phone.
Right.
You feel relieved, you feel uplifted,
Mm-hmm.
you feel a positive disconnect that you probably felt back in the 80s, God knows in the 70s. So what do you think, Harris? You haven't said much about it.
I think it's more environment, expectations, leadership. Your environment said a lot about how you are and how you act as a person. So in your household, if that rule has been set, then we're not talking about this conversation because it's already known. So what's been allowed to happen is now forming these people. So it all goes back to your environment, and that has to change.
Okay,
Agree.
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Agree.
Yeah.
Well, the last thing I'm going to say about this is know yourself well enough to find your tribe. Know yourself well enough about what you like and what you don't like. If you're going to a party where everybody is overwhelming and just over the top, and that's not you, then that's not your party. There's a lot of people out there that have similar personalities to you where you can be equally seen, equally heard, and equally acknowledged.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I've found my tribe now this year, more so than I've had in the past 6 years being down here, because we all connect, and that's a good feeling to be able to connect and feel a part of something. That loneliness goes away, because there were some days that were really lonely, and I would find myself just looking at the phone too, just trying to read what's going on in the world so that I'd kind of have myself to talk to about something in the news. It's kind of weird how to explain it, but yeah. But I don't find myself on my phone as much as before because I'm out there now doing stuff with friends that we connect,
Right.
So
That's awesome. Okay, Angie, what is your challenge? What is your topic?
I would say, well, death, is a challenge, but I think the mental health part of going through that, the stress, the anxiety, those are challenges that many people face, not even just with the death. It could be, the job or a relationship that goes with that.
Yeah, because those can feel like a death.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But the big one, I think is the mental health and well-being right now for not just myself, but a lot of people in this world with everything that's happening, gas prices going up, food again, then that's bringing in that financial hardship and stress and anxiety, not just for one individual, it could be for a whole family, you know. So those challenges are coming around more and more with, like, I just had a friend text me the other day. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, I knew something was going on with her because I hadn't heard from her. And then she knew she needed to borrow some money for gas, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, baby, but I'm just barely hanging on myself until payday. But whatever else I can do, I mean, I try my best just to keep myself balanced, But that put anxiety on me because I kept thinking about her all day, and I'm just like trying to figure out what I could do. And I text her later on and said, "Hey, do you still need help?" She said, "No." She said, "My sister borrowed me the money for my gas." I said, "Okay," so that's a huge challenge to not want to see your friends, or even she was an old coworker, but still we keep in contact. But the
Yeah,
face of
financial challenges
challenges,
are
yeah,
crazy right now for a lot of people.
yeah, it is.
Parents are trying to figure out how to feed their kids something healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And ramen noodles only go so far, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So the financial challenge of not only putting the gas in the car to go to work, but trying to maintain the job that has not increased your wages to meet the demands of the new fuel and food prices.
Right. Oh, right.
A crisis.
I mean,
Prioritizing.
What'd you
yeah.
say?
I says people have to prioritize now. They're trying to figure out even which bill is important. Which one do we
Right.
really need? Which one can we deal without for a while, or stuff like that. So that's a very big challenge.
I was just gonna say I've had to change my food list to what I can afford, compared to what I used to be able to go, "Ooh, I want that, I want this." Now it's like, okay, no, I can't get that or get this. That should last me till the week, it's those
Yeah.
carbs that I don't want, but it's putting food in my belly, till
Right.
the next payday or whatever. But yeah, ramen noodles is can only go so far and can handle so much of that,
Right.
But
Yeah, and think about the Spirit airline workers. I don't think they had any severance pay or anything. Jobs are just gone, and they're not the only ones.
Right.
TSA workers not knowing, when they're going to get another paycheck. So it's a sense of loss of country, loss of identity. It's a lot of challenges within all of those things that are happening in real time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are things that we can talk about it and try to figure out some resolutions, but I know
Yeah.
it's very, very hard to watch those type of things just happen. And in the work that I do kind of every day, I give out resources to people, and so I have more people asking for resources for food stability.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Yeah.
more people asking for resources to help, basically mental health, because their life in
Mm-hmm.
general right now is a challenge, and they do recognize they need some type of counseling slash therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So we are just flooded with so many of those, especially for food and for mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you are, I mean, pressed in any way, but since we're talking about finances, when you are financially pressed and you're trying to figure out how to create the next dollar to take care of your family, it has a serious mental health hit
Yes.
in
Yep.
your head
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because you're thinking 24 hours a day about how to create the next dollar to make sure this is taken care of, that person's fed, this is taken care of for your child, or you know, and it's 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 exhausting. It's
Mm-hmm.
exhausting to the point where you're so damn tired you fall asleep, but then you fall asleep and then you wake up because you're thinking about the same stuff over and
Yep.
over and over and over again. How do
Yep.
I figure it out? When there was a crisis back when Reagan was in office for the farmers, my dad would just sit at the end of the table and he would
Mm,
figure and he'd figure and he'd write and you know, and you could just see the stress on his face.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Talking about a
Absolutely.
man that was trying to maintain a huge farm and a huge family because I was
Yeah.
what, 9. Now we weren't all home when we were going through that, but it took a toll on his mental health. Now he would say that, but it
Right.
just that laugh that he would laugh every day. There were fewer and fewer of them.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, he became short, and my mother wasn't used to that. She was used to the happy person, and
Mm-hmm.
for her there were many tears. So it doesn't just affect the person that's going through it, it affects the spouse, it affects the children, it affects
Mm-hmm.
everybody that's
Absolutely.
around them.
Right. Because they can see it or they can feel it
They
yeah.
can definitely feel it.
and sense it, you know.
And I
Um,
just wish we could come back to community like we used to, because this is not the first time this country or any country has gone through this. But when I was growing up, you could go to your neighbor and say, "Hey, you got 2 cups of sugar. I need
right.
to buy that." You know,
Right.
wish we could get back to that type of community. Yeah, I look for that now. That's the type of community I really want to be in. You know,
Yeah.
something
And it,
growing in your garden. You know, you
right.
got greens, some cabbage, string beans. You could some squash. You can go cook, and you can
Yes.
see your neighbor. You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
So, what are some suggestions that we can give those who are in these situations to alleviate some of the stress and pressure that they're under?
one, there are resources out here. There are a lot of resources out here.
Yeah.
There are a lot of community food pantries out here for people that are that they do it every week and they don't ask any questions. You know,
Right.
you need food. You know, you can go to the pantry. Say it's every Tuesday or every Wednesday. You can go there and get whatever they're giving away that day, and keep it moving. So there are resources out here. Is
Yeah.
my suggestion to people.
And for those that aren't used to doing something like that, it's okay. I mean, you're not a failure. It's not your fault. It's just, you know what I mean? I had a friend that I said, go to a food pantry because she needed food and she didn't have it. And I couldn't buy it for her. You know, this is a few years ago. I said, go to the food pantry. They will give you a bag. They won't ask questions. They're there to help people, you know. And she finally did. And she thanked me because I said, well, we had to do it when I was a young kid. I remember my mom having to, you know, go to those food resources
Yeah,
to put food on the table for us kids. And there's nothing shameful about it. It's just you're going through that financial hardship. You know, you might be in between jobs or you know, at that time, but now it's different because it's, you
You
know,
can be
prices
working.
are up, gas prices are up.
Well,
Um,
think about that. Anyone and any time, any person can need help, no matter what.
yeah,
mhm,
It's nothing to be ashamed about.
no,
You need to go out and get the help that you need because
mhm,
what you're trying to do is become better.
mhm,
And sometimes we all go through it. I don't know anyone in my life that hasn't gone through something.
absolutely.
And, it's
absolutely,
just a matter of, humbling yourself and go get the help that you need,
right.
whatever it is.
Mhm, I agree.
Okay, what about mental health? Is there resources for that? Or what
Yes,
are different areas that they can go that may not be as expensive as some place where you have to use insurance? Is there self-pay? What's out there?
well, one immediately clergy, you know,
Mhm,
clergy, you can go and sit and have a conversation clergy anytime, and it doesn't matter, what denomination or anything like that. If you have a close friend that you can share your stories with, because I'm a person, I'll share your burden with you.
Yeah.
I'll help you,
Yeah.
get results. I'll help you find resources. So if hopefully some people do have those type of friends or family members can do that for them. There are mental hotlines that you can call,
Mm-hmm.
and you can talk with a person for free on the hotline, and they will steer you towards other long-term services for you.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, there's a lot of things out here. Just look, just
You
look.
got to look and find. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think also just
Yes,
talking to anyone, just opening your mouth and sharing what you're going through, because in the long run, you may figure out that the person you're talking to needed you to talk to them just as much as they needed you to talk to them. So it's a matter of just opening up and not, like I said, no one has anything to be ashamed of. It doesn't matter, because I don't know you. Most people don't even know people's last names, but let alone the first name. So why should I be ashamed of? I don't know you. You don't know me. Let's just talk about it. It's not
Right.
that big of a deal.
I've been there. I've been there. You
Yeah.
know that question all the time is, how did you end up in Georgia? And it's like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
my story, and
Mhm.
it it always helps to talk about it, and it gets easier and easier every time. Um,
And
and
that's the therapy.
it
yeah,
is. Telling your
That's
absolutely,
the
story is
therapy.
therapy.
absolutely. It totally has been.
Right. And when you hear yourself, a lot of times you don't even need them to give you a solution. You just need to talk it out
Yes.
for
Hmm.
yourself, and you will figure out the solution for yourself.
Hmm.
Because when you keep it inside, it's like in a bottle. But when you open up the bottle, it presents itself to the universe, and you suddenly start getting all of the, maybe not the perfect answers, but ideas that can come to a perfect answer.
Hmm. Yep.
So if you just let it out and let it flow, it might lead to tears. It might lead to laughing, because if you don't laugh, you're going to be in tears.
Hmm.
But it does release that pressure, that buildup inside, so that it doesn't seem as overwhelming as that insurmountable mountain that's in front of you. It just kind of breaks it down to a hill where it becomes, okay, now one step at a time, you'll be able to get over that hill.
That's right.
And crying is the body's mechanism for releasing. And so
Hmm.
it doesn't want that pressure to build up. So if you want to cry, please cry, because that's good for your body. Other than that, you're just going to hold
Absolutely.
this in, and other things will happen. So release it, cry
Right.
all you
Right.
want to.
Oh yeah, I have.
Oh, do you have anything to say about this, Holden?
Yeah. Um, I think speaking out to someone, it doesn't, like you guys said, it could be someone's sort of random, but for me, I don't know. I've surrounded myself with pretty good people for the most part, and I feel like there's a lot of contacts in my phone just for me to call out. I think for me, it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of random conversations like that. I was driving one day. I think this lady might have been, I don't know, angel guardian something, I don't know, but I was driving down the street, my windows were down, and she flagged me down, and I looked over, and it was a lady. She was like, baby, I need a ride to church. And I was like, I didn't know this lady. But what did I do? I let her in my car.
Oh,
Gosh.
Hey, Dang. Wow.
And we were driving and she was talking. I said, see, I'm supposed to be in this car with this lady. And I'm telling you, I took her to church and I never saw her again in my life.
Right.
But she was on the corner in the neighborhood that I lived in. I looked for that lady. I never saw that lady again.
Really.
Wow. And you're still here.
So random is good.
Right. Right.
I don't know if I have to give them a ride, but
Right.
Right. Well, I know that I personally tend to be a sounding board. I have a lot of people who talk to me, a lot of people that ring my phone, a lot of people who share their concerns. I don't know if I have that, just that face or that energy, but I take each person who wants to talk to me very seriously, and I am there to listen. And if they want advice, I'm there to give advice. And sometimes, even if they don't want advice, I may give advice.
And nothing wrong with that either.
But people just want to be heard. And that makes people feel human again.
Mm-hmm.
So, what knowledge would you like to talk about today, Harriet?
Let's see. I have a list here. But I think I'm gonna go with country.
Okay.
And the reason I'm gonna go with country because I think it's in the same vein that we're in right now. And so many people feel lost. So many people feel like there's no foundation for them anymore. And a lot of people are seeking refuge in other homelands that they've never been to because they have lost the sense of belonging.
Mm-hmm.
And it's horrible that they have lost the sense of belonging. And I don't care what region of this country you go to, this is going to be echoed throughout this country, that people feel a loss of country. And that, is a loss of hope, it's despair. It's like, what has happened to our lives? What are we to do? And that's a huge question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that the answer is to just get up out of here because half of my friends are saying that's their answer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I'm going to Africa. I'm going to Europe. I'm going to Asia. Or I'm getting ready to live in the islands and sell coconut juice on the beach. Like I'm pretty well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to wake up every day, I think that's huge. And we're not even talking about all the other things that we just talked about on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think for me, it's country right now. And, I know it's election. Probably I said that because it is election season and all of that. We want to try to get some type of normalcy back. And I don't know if it's really normal, but to make life feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
We can safely walk out our door without being harassed or looking over our shoulder to see who's watching us. Is somebody come snatch us or take us or snatch children, or your neighbor's safe, is my brother safe or my sister safe, is my family safe? It's a constant worry right now.
Oh, I totally get it.
Yeah. So collectively, I think, we have to come together with some type of alignment and really try to figure this thing out, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that challenge right now.
Well, I think that a lot of people are living in a society of fear. And
Yep.
fear is escalated because of many things. And one thing would be um, the person who runs our country. We don't know what to expect from day to day, and we don't know what's going to happen from day to day. And we don't know if there's going to be where the war is going to be or if the war is going to come to our home country. There's just so many unpredictable circumstances out there that I think it's overwhelming the general population.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's got to be a sense of common sense. You can't let things overtake your life or your world, or you'll become that person who's afraid to leave the house. And you'll be that person who is afraid to be out amongst other people because now we have all these diseases coming back.
Yeah.
So many extra things out there that's bombarding us daily. Because the first thing, I don't know about you guys, but if you pick up your phone first thing in the morning, what do you see? You might see that,
Yes.
right?
Can I say
Something that's
something here?
going to get your senses and throw you off balance.
I think people should get busy living. It sounds simple, but to me, it's really that simple because it doesn't matter who's in office. Certain things matter to all people, but your daily life and what you're going to have to do. I think people need to get busy within themselves and knowing who they are, how they want to live, and what they're going to do to be able to live their life, no matter what country you go to. You can wake up every morning and you can get so overwhelmed with what's going on in the world as far as leadership. I tell people to start looking at themselves as leaders and then lead those around you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how change is going to happen. It won't happen from the way people think it will. It's always the people that make the change. So those
Absolutely.
people that are busy living, those people are busy trying to help other people change their lives, those people that are trying to make sure that people know their own possibilities because most people don't because they live in fear. So how can I help you not live in fear and let's just get busy living? How can I help you do that? That's what I think people need to concentrate on.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. That's the way that you should live. And I know I try to live like that. And there's a but, and the but is just because of the example of what has happened to people. People have had their kids snatched from them. You know, they have had their homes invaded. Um, they've had their jobs just dissipate. You know, and it's unsettling for a lot of people because if you work, you know, in a certain arena that you depend on a contract or something like that federally, you don't know from day to day whether that's going to be stable or not, you
Right.
know. So um, I don't know what the answer is for that. I'm just saying it's a feeling that people have. And I do want people to not live in fear and to be those things, Harris, to be those leaders. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the reality is those things have happened to those people, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I get that. And when that, when they go through those things, ultimately you still have to make that choice. You have to make the choice of what are you going to do about it. I'm not saying it's easy, but
Hmm.
at some point, whether it takes you a year, or it takes you 2 months, or it takes you 3 years, whether you're someone that's going to contemplate about something all along, or you're just going to take action. So I'm just saying, at some point, you yourself can start the process.
Yeah,
Yeah. I hear you there.
I think it's all about choosing. It's kind of like
Exactly.
that saying, you can't make anyone happy except for yourself.
Right.
Hmm.
And you can't, you're going to have to choose not to be fearful. You're going to have to choose to wake up and get out there, put your happy face on, and do things with, for, to other people to encourage them to join you in your joyfulness.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you have to be an advocate, that's for sure, for yourself and for others. Because I'm sure if somebody came into our homes and snatched our kids up, we'll be devastated. And we're not just thinking that way, but we will think about how I'm getting my kid back, and you're worried about what's going on, you
Right.
know,
Right.
in an immediate situation. And none of those things have happened to me, but I do feel their pain. And I
Absolutely.
do want to get out here and be active and protest, and because the people that are doing it, they don't want that to happen to their kids either.
Right.
Right.
I think that's exactly what I'm saying when I'm saying that at some point you're gonna have to just say, okay, I'm not saying it's easy,
Right.
but you're gonna have to make that decision. That's all I'm saying. You got to make that decision, and the sooner you make it, the better. I mean, be active, go out there, help other people, and
Mm-hmm.
not live in fear. That's my only thing. It's just not to live in fear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Fight or flight. And I'll fight.
Right. Right.
I might
All
do it right too. I might do it all.
Yeah.
Okay. Harris, what is a challenge that you would like to talk about?
That's a great question. I'm not for sure. Let me think about that for a moment.
Okay. Well, we'll skip you and come back to you. Holding a challenge.
Well, like Harriet was saying, with the spirit people, they just woke up, lost their damn job. That's just some people. They could be the breadwinner of the family, and like you guys said, things are sort of higher right now than they usually been. So some people are living paycheck to paycheck, expecting that next, and something like that can totally throw put your life upside down.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing that we're watching in real time happening to people. So all I gotta say to that is, um, I would say you need to have good. I would say good connections with people. You need to be someone people can trust, because I've seen stuff happen. Stuff has happened to me, and the way I've got back was picking up the phone and phone a friend. Someone knows someone who knows someone that needs something,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that could either be a holdover position or it could be something better than what you had at the time. And I think right now, more than ever, I know some people, like you guys said, are alone, but I think if you can have a close family connection or some real good 3, 4, or 5 good close friends that you can, like you said, talk to, help you out, pointing you in a certain direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you gotta have good connections with people. I would say.
Yeah. Tribes are important. Your
Yes.
tribes are important.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
but
challenge.
yeah, I think losing a position that you felt solid in and it just disappears from you, that could be a huge challenge in someone's life, especially you got kids and people in your house looking up to you.
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, that's like me. I'm alone, and I found another job because I financially needed to bring in more money. I mean, I don't even have internet or cable. I never have since I've been in my apartment. It's just one financial burden that I don't want to have to worry about. You know, that my priorities of like, I got to pay rent, I got to pay my car note, and I got to have groceries and pay my electricity bill, gas in my car. I got unlimited on my data, my phone, the data, and you know, so now I'm working 2 jobs just to get myself by. But if I can help a friend, like the gal that called and needed gas money, I'll be able to do that because that'll make me feel good. I guess if you can do something like that, that to me is like, okay, that's my first step of trying to get out and helping someone find the resources, you know, even if it's just a friend that she came to talk to me about. I'm sure she didn't want to, but I was someone she could reach out to. And I don't want to always be, I'm sorry, I can't help you, you know, because that might be me one day on the other end, you know, $3. But yeah, hey, so I mean, am I going to burn myself out? No, I know what my limitations are in order for me to stay above water. You know what I mean? Because if I put myself out, then I'm no good to myself financially, you know, so.
I would say another thing is it's hustle season. It's not time to sit down and kick back.
Exactly.
It's time to get what you got and go for more. It's it's hustle season. You got to be out.
Yep. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "We're not going to see you this summer." I said, "Nope."
That's okay. It's okay.
All right. Because I got to do for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Real one I was talking about earlier. You're taking actions, and that's what I'm talking about right there. Just take action. Help yourself. Help others. I mean, you can always help somebody else by helping yourself, putting yourself in position. You know, and that's what you're talking about now. And you know, heck, the next day, you know, I may need help. I need that person to be able out there taking action so that they can help me, and just that's how the world works.
Yep.
Well, I think the world is coming back to, is going to go back to more of an old system. Exactly what Harriet was talking about, helping out your neighbors, knowing who your tribe is, growing vegetables, you know, all of that community stuff, coming back together, thriving as a community, thriving as your neighborhood or your township, sharing what you have in your pantry with your neighbors. And,
absolutely.
You know,
one thing I'll say though, like Angie was sort of saying, you gotta make sure you're good first, because if you're not good, you can't help anybody. That's why they say in the airplane, put your mask on first.
Yeah.
Then help people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do, but you know what I found out the other day, and I hope this isn't true. They said when you put your mask on, then you're supposed to put your head between your knees. It's not because they're trying to save your life. They're trying to make sure you die more quickly, because you'll break your neck on the seat ahead of you. And you'll die from that instead of the crash.
You better stop trying to tie stuff in. Stop it. That's the second part of the video I wasn't talking about.
That's
what I heard.
Angie, that's why people should not have internet. That's just listen to that and let's go from there.
Like, Angie, you're fine. Don't get it.
Angie, you can help all of us, I believe.
That was the one key, no internet. You ain't gotta hear no sad news.
No.
Really.
Oh my goodness.
Can you imagine how much less stress you would have if you did not have access to all of the daily information they throw at us? Because with AI and just with social media alone, we are being bombarded with bad news 24 hours a day.
Yeah. And I have basic TV, but I'm seeing all the political ads, and I'm like, oh, shut up. I'm talking out loud to the TV. But I mean, I get like the Brady Bunch or the old shows that brings me back to when I had no stress,
Right.
Gilligan's Island, the Jeffersons, All in the Family. I mean, I get those basic stations, and I even watch the Toon Channel with Woody Woodpecker. I mean, it is so like I don't have that techno stress. I just come home and I just, and if I don't want to watch that, I just put in a DVD.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll just say this again. I think we all have that choice. To me, it's all about choice, and you can choose to pay attention to it and let it
Mhm.
just infiltrate you and just ruin your life, or you can
Mhm.
choose to ignore it and just live your life and get busy
Exactly.
doing what you're going to do anyway. That's just the way. I'm not saying that's perfect, but at some point, you're still going to have to make a choice.
Yeah.
And you
And
can choose to just listen to it. I mean, if I sat here and listened to everything that's on the news, I might go crazy. I won't do it.
right.
But
Right.
if I just sat there every day and listened to that every day, every morning, what's going on in the news? What's going on in the world? No, I need
Right.
to pay attention to just how am I going to be productive today? Start
Mhm.
right there.
Mhm.
Walk out the door
Absolutely.
with a goal in mind
Yeah.
and just accomplish that small goal that day. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's going to go perfect because it doesn't. But if I can focus on what I'm focusing on, then I can be that person that holding saying you got to take care of yourself so that you then can
Yeah.
take care of other people and help other
Right.
people. So
Right.
yeah, if I listen to the
Absolutely.
news every day, I go crazy.
Yeah. I have a friend who's got cable, and he every time I go over there, he's got the Fox News or CNN, and he's sitting there and gets all. I said, "What's wrong?" He's, "Oh, this," and I said, "Why do you watch that? You every time I come over, you are stressed out over what? There's nothing you can do but shut it off and just go enjoy your day and be productive and go mow your lawn or build the thing you wanted to build in your backyard instead of sitting there watching all this stuff that's stressing you out for whatever reason." But yeah, I don't
Mm.
mix any of that stuff. I don't.
Um,
But I gotta say, Laura, about you talking about community, I've gotten closer with my neighbors in the last year
Mm.
with everything that's going on. I mean, I never knew their names, and now I know 4 of them that are right here because
Hmm.
we're talking more. I have a guy at the end. He lives alone, and he's come over the other day and asked for water, and I said sure. Gave him whatever bottled water I had left. I just bought a new 24 pack, so I was like okay. And he's asked me for toilet paper before. He's on a income based, monthly income based, financially, and so you know, I have another gal that I met, and she's living over here, and then another gal that I met, her name, and it's like we've all lived here. I've lived here the longest, and they've lived here about 4 or 5 years. So I mean, it feels good to be able to talk to the neighbors and look out for each other because I didn't feel I had any of that before, and now it's kind of like we're watching each other's back and talking more about things, just random stuff, and I'll listen because especially my neighbor guy, he's older gentleman, and he just talks, and I just let him talk and I listen, you know, and sometimes that's like he might just need that. Like I've needed that in the past with other
mhm.
people. So that's been really good as far as getting that community bonding, you know, even though we're all strangers, but we're not really. We've been
Mm-mm.
this
I think
close,
it's
you know.
important. It's like at work, I have my work community. Of course, you have your regular friends, and then you have, family, your family members, and they're all a part of your tribe,
Mhm. Mhm.
community. And it's crucial to have the right people in your life. Like you're saying, Angie, that lady that used to be a coworker of yours. She reached out to you because
Mhm.
she felt comfortable calling you. You were a
Mhm.
part of the tribe. And so
Mhm.
that's kudos to you for the type of person, that you are. So for us, we just need to be a good person, you know,
Yes.
do the
Hey,
things.
you know what I do?
What?
I just act excited to see everybody. You know what I'm saying? And and then that makes them feel like they're excited to see me,
I
even if
like
they're not.
that. I
You know what I'm
like
saying? It's just my little cheat code. I just always act excited to see my neighbors, whoever I walk up on, And when I put that energy out, they're like, "Oh shit, I should put good energy out to them, to him too." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
that. Important.
It, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not too often they want to be an asshole back. You know what I'm saying? It usually works out pretty good.
I like that.
Yeah, just act excited to see people.
Hey,
That's a good
look,
idea.
nothing like a smile.
There
Yeah,
you go.
It's nothing like a smile.
It is contagious.
Hmm.
yeah. Hey,
A smile and no internet, and we can get somewhere.
Yeah.
hey,
Well, believe it or not, we have come up on our hour. It's so crazy how talking about everyday life can just make time fly.
Sure.
But we really, really appreciated you joining us today. Please like, share, and follow us. We always have something new to talk about. And who knows, we may have another episode of challenges because we only got through like 2 or 3 today. But with that, just remember to be kind to everyone around you. You don't know what they're experiencing, what they're going through, and maybe your smile will change their day. With that being said, we're going to close out tonight. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
guys.